Hello dear students, so now today we would move ahead in this chapter number 7, that is getting to know plants, class 6th science. Okay, so now today in this video we would discuss about the plants here. Okay, now if you would see the plants, we can the plants are having two main parts. Okay, the plants are having two main parts. First one is the vegetative part and the second one is known as the reproductive part. Okay, so plants has two main parts, vegetative parts and the reproductive parts. So these two parts we have to discuss in a plant. Okay, means within a plant. Okay, within plant we focus on two major parts here, that is vegetative parts and the reproductive part. So first we would discuss about the vegetative part. Okay, now if you see, the vegetative parts can be divided into three subcategories, that is roots, stem and the leaf. All these three constitute the vegetative part of a plant: roots, stem and the leaf. So vegetative parts can again be divided into three parts, three subparts there, that is roots, stem and the leaf. Now, today we would discuss about the first vegetative part, that is root here. Okay. Now today we would discuss about the first vegetative part, that is root. Okay. Now if you see the function of the root, we would discuss first. Okay. What is the function of the root? What is the function of the root, that we would discuss. Then we would discuss the parts of the root also. Okay. Then later we would discuss about the leaf, sorry, the stem, the leaf. And so total vegetative parts would be discussed. Then later on we would move ahead towards the reproductive parts. So today we are discussing the first vegetative part, that is roots. Okay, so what is the function of the root? So roots, these are just you can say these the roots helps in anchoring the plants in the ground. Okay, suppose a plant is anchored in the ground, in the soil. Suppose here is a plant, so the plant is anchored in the soil with the help of the roots here. Okay, suppose there are no roots here, so plants would not remain here. Okay, so the plant is anchored in the soil with the help of the roots. So roots are helping the plants, to anchor upon. Okay, to anchor in the soil. So this is the main function of the root here. Okay, one more function of the root is there. Suppose let's say this is the plant and here you have the leaf also. Okay, so the food production takes place where? The food production, the food of the plants, the food production takes place in the leaf. Okay, but for the production of food, the leaf needs water also. So how the water would go to the leaf? Okay, so the water, just the root, with the help of the root help in just we can say in taking up the water and the nutrients from the soil to the leaf. So this is another function of the root, means the roots help in taking up the water from the soil and the mineral, taking up the water and mineral from the soil to the leaves where the food production would take place. Okay, so these are two main functions of the roots. Okay, are you getting this? Now again, the roots can be, you would see there are different kinds of roots. Okay, so broadly we can divide the roots into two parts. Some are like this: there would be a main root and then you would see some small branches like that, and upside there will be the plant here. Okay, are you getting this? Yes. So such roots would be called as the tap root. We call such root as tap root. Means here you would have a main root, and with the main root there are small lateral lines like this. Okay, so such roots would be called as the tap root. Okay, next type of roots are fibrous roots. Fibrous roots, here the roots are widespread here. You would see the roots like this. Such roots are here. Okay, the roots are like this here. So such roots are called the fibrous roots. Suppose you take the grass from the park here and just lift it up. You would see the roots of the grass as the fibrous roots. Fibrous roots means here the roots are widespread in the soil. So such roots are called the fibrous roots. So again the roots can be divided into two parts: tap roots and the fibrous roots. But the function of the root is that I have already discussed. Means they help in anchoring the plant in the soil. Number one. Number two, they take up the water from the they take up water and mineral from the soil to the leaf where the food production take place. Are you getting this? So this is all about the root. Okay, so just I'm writing it, then you have to note it down. So this is all about the function of and the types of roots. Okay, so these are the function of the roots, means help the plants to anchor to the soil. Second one, helps in taking up the water and mineral from the soil to the leaves where the food production would take place. Okay, and when we are discussing about the types of roots, so there are basically two types of roots: tap roots and the fibrous roots. Tap roots means there would be a main root having some lateral you can say branches or the lines, and the fibrous roots, here we have the widespread root system there. Okay, so this is all about the roots and the function of the roots. Now we would discuss about the means we would classify the plants. How many types of plants are there, that we would first discuss, then later on we would discuss about the next vegetative part, that is stem. So before discussing about the stem, we would discuss about the types of plants, means how to classify the plants. Okay, just note this all down. Now if you see the types of plants, here the first category would be of the herbs. Okay, herbs are the very small plant. Okay, very small plant. Okay, having the tender stem, you can bend the stem, and the green stem, like having green stem and the tender stem, you would call such plants as the herbs. They are very small. You can take the example here, the grass. So grass is herb. Okay, so the first category is herbs. Herbs means here these are the very small plants having the tender smell, tender stem. Okay, you can bend them. Tender means you can bend them, they can be bent. Okay, and they are very short. They do not have any branch. You would find straightway the leaf there. Okay, so suppose the small plant is there, small plant is here, and straightway when it is coming up to the ground, so straightway you would find the leaves here. Okay, so such plants would be called as the what? Herbs. Okay, these are very small plants. Okay, they have the tender stem. And next is the category of the shrubs. Shrubs means here shrubs like this. Shrubs. So shrubs are what? Which type of plants? Shrubs means the plants which are bigger than herbs. Okay, the plants that are bigger than herbs would be called as the shrubs. And one more important thing about the shrubs is they have some somewhat hard stem. Like in the previous case, the stem was not hard, the stem was very tender, you can bend it. But here the stem is somewhat hard. The stem is hard but not thick. It's very thin stem but it's hard. Like the example you can take here, the rose plant. Okay, so here, so in case of the rose plant, the tandem is somewhat hard but it is thin there. Okay, so you would call it as shrubs. Okay, third category is of the trees. Trees, you might be knowing about the trees. Trees means we are bigger in size. Okay, which are bigger than you can say shrubs. Okay, so more important thing about the trees, they have the thick stem now, like this. They have the thick stem here. Okay, and very hard stem. In case of the shrubs, the stem is thin but it was hard, and in case of this, the stem was just you can tender it, being able to tender. Okay, so stem was very thin here, and you can bend it in case of the shrubs. And in case of the herbs, in case of the shrubs, the stem was thin but it was hard. But in case of trees, the stem is thick as well as hard also. Okay, so this is the category, like your example like mango tree, people tree. Okay, next is the category of the climbers. Climbers, these are the plants which need some support, which need some support to climb up. Okay, if you give them some support, they would climb up. Suppose such plant, here you would give some support to them, so they would climb up. Like here the example very common here, like the money plant. So money plant is a climber here, because if you are giving some support to the money plant, it would climb up. Okay, so money plant is a climber. Okay, because they are having some hooks here, like in between they are having the hooks. With the help of the hooks, they are climbing up. Okay, so we call such plants as the climber. Next is the category of the creepers. Creepers. So creepers are which plant? Creepers means which creep on the ground, which cannot climb up, which cannot climb because they do not have the hooks like in case of the climbers. Okay, so they just creep on the ground. They creep, or just say they creep on the ground, they do not climb up. So we call such plants as the creepers here. Like here example, the best one is the pumpkin. So pumpkin is a creeper here. Pumpkin is a creeper. Why? Because it creeps on the ground, it cannot climb up with some support there. Okay, so these are the categories of the plants. Okay, now let me write it, then you will note down. So this is all about the plants here. Okay, it's like if you are classifying the plants, so number one is herb. These are very small plant with green and tender stem, example grass. Shrubs, these are bigger than the herbs, okay, with thin and hard stem, and example is rose plant here. Trees, these are bigger in size and bigger than shrubs, you can say. Okay, and they have thick and the hard stem, example is mango tree and etc. also. Next one is the climbers. These are the plants which needs a support to climb up, like the example is money plant here. Next one is the creepers, plants that spread on the ground, for example that is pumpkin here. Okay, so this is all for today. We'll be discussing some more topics related to this chapter. Till then, stay tuned and thank you. Have a good day.